Hey everyone, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to another video. So today I want to share with you a new to me tool, the metal adapter plate, and why I think this tool is awesome and you need it in your craft room too. So this is the metal adapter plate. This one is from Lawn Fawn. There are other companies that sell them. I bought this one because I like Lawn Fawn as a company. I think it's a great company, and also it fits my big shot, big kick. So that is why I bought this one. I also love the price point on this one. I will leave a link to it down below to a few different stores and also to a few other options for metal adapter plates, but I haven't tried those. So this is the only one I've tried. Now the metal adapter plate is for intricate die cutting. This is fantastic, especially for this time of year with all those like snow and snowflake dies and that kind of thing. This one measures 5.5 inches by 7.75 inches. So for size reference, this almost covers the surface area of my cutting plates of my big kick. So just FYI for size reference. Now I specifically bought this tool to see if it is all that it's supposed to be. To be quite honest, I didn't think it would work as well as it did, but I wanted to give it a shot. And that is because I bought this die last year. I absolutely adore this die, and I've gotten it to work without this tool, but it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. This is a super intricate die from Cat Scrappiness, and it's just a stunning die. To get this to work on my older machine, because it's about 11 years old, I would have to rotate it about 90 degrees every time and run it through, run it back, and then run it through and run it back, and then paper shim and run it through and run it back and flip it and turn it and see what I could come up with. And then sometimes, even with my machine, I would end up having to go in with a craft knife and cut out certain pieces. So I really wanted to be able to use this die, and to be quite honest, because I had such a hard time cutting intricate dies, I just have stopped buying them altogether. I haven't bought any background dies. Some of them are absolutely gorgeous. There's some new mandala ones from Cat Scrappiness that I absolutely adore that I wanted to try. But then I was like, well, I don't do so well with intricate dies. I don't have that kind of time to sit there and play around with it, so I'm just not going to buy it. This has totally changed the game. So let me show you running this die through without the metal cutting plate. You can see I've got a good indentation, but I mean, with my machine, it's not even cutting all the way around the die itself. So what I would do at this point was tape it back in the die, flip it, flip it, flip it, run it through, run it through, run it through, shim it, do what I needed to do to get it to cut. Let me show you how I cut this with the metal adapter plate. So I put my cutting plate down, then I put the metal adapter plate on top of that. Cut the die with the cut side facing up, and then my cardstock on top of that. This is heavyweight white cardstock too, so it's a good amount of pressure in there. Then I've got my final cutting plate right on top. I'll run this through my die cutting machine. Like I said, I use a Sizzix Big Kick. This is about 11 years old. I use it almost daily, and I make a lot of cards, as you know. So this is really a workhorse. This has been put through it. I could buy a new die cutting machine, but to be quite honest, I wanted to see if this would work first before I made that investment. So I ran this through. This is super tight. You're going to need some arm strength to get it through, to be 100% honest. Now, once I ran that through and got it out, look at that. I couldn't believe it worked so well. I was expecting to pull this out and cut it maybe once or twice more and then get it to work, but I didn't even need to do that. I ran it through one time and the pieces were literally falling out. Now, I've seen this tool used with some of the smaller dies and really intricate small dies, and it works beautifully for that. So my thinking was, this is a huge die. You know, it's a full A2 size die. It's going to take a few times, but it didn't. I was pleasantly surprised. So I wanted to see if I could go ahead and pop out any of those dies or little pieces from the die cut on the first one with my pick tool. This is great for intricate die cutting too, but even with that, I was still having to rip some of those pieces out. It just wasn't doing it for me. But let me show you on the other side. You can see these pop straight out. I can just pop them out with my fingers and they fall out pretty much. So that's awesome. I'm super excited I get to use this die again. So just for 100% honesty here, I did have one little piece there on the left-hand side that still was a little bit attached. I did end up getting it out, but just to be 100% honest, that was the only piece that I did have a little trouble with on the metal adapter plate side. But the rest of them came out super easily. I just used that little pick tool to get all those itsy bitsy little pieces out. And there you can start to see just how really fine detailed this die is. Now, I did show a photo earlier of how I used this die previously. I will leave that video linked down below. And I do mention in that video that I did have to turn it and turn it and turn it to get it to work. And it does work. You can get it to work absolutely 100%. You can do that with any intricate die for that matter. It's not just specifically this die. It's a great die. It's just my machine. But if you want to be able to do this with one pass and really be able to speed up your time you're spending on your cards, this is a great investment, I think. And I'm super excited to start buying my intricate background dies again. So that is going to do it for me today. There is going to be a link to this tool down below to a few different shops. If you do not have a big kick or a big shot or a cuddle bug, I will leave a few more options if I can find them linked down below also for you. But I haven't tried those, so that's going to be a little bit more iffy on if they work as well as this one. That is going to do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching and happy crafting.